Assalamualaikum and hello, Miss Ona. Today, our group will be presenting our progress for MIP version 2. Our group consists of me, Ahmad Razik bin Roslan, Muhammad Azim, Afifa Betrisha, and Nur Ashikin here. So, without further ado, here is our MIP. So, here is the gaining attention. We have not made any changes to the gaining attention yet because we have been focusing mainly on the lessons and the practices. But it is essentially the same as the first time we showed you the other day. Uh, Hold on. Oh, okay.
Sugar, spice, and everything nice. These were the ingredients chosen to create the perfect little girl. But
So it's still the same. The video, it's still you asked us to reduce the length of the video. It's too long. We will change that, but for now, it's still the same. So this one is still. We have not implemented a login as well. We plan to use the same name throughout the whole, like a proper login system. But for now, it's still the same. And then here's where we have made changes. Okay, now the others will start presenting.
Okay, so here we can see the storyline 1 for the game. So the purpose of the storyline is to introduce the game's conflict and give players a clear reason for completing the English activities. At the beginning of the game, Townsville is peaceful and suddenly, Razi click next. Mojo Jojo attacks the city using the brainwash beam. Next again, and that causes everyone to lose their English knowledge. And his goal is to prevent the citizens from communicating, understanding instructions, and working together. So once everyone loses their English skills, he believes it will be much easier to take over Townsville. Then a news reporter then announces the emergency, which helps explain the situation quickly before the Powerpuff Girls ask the Powerpuff Fish team for help, and this naturally leads into the learning missions. So let's begin to storyline 2.
Okay, for storyline 2, the purpose of storyline 2 is to introduce the players to the actual main characters of the game, which are not the Powerpuff Girls, but which is the Powerpuff Fish. And it is in the form of dialogues. And we get to be introduced with our four main characters, which are Basket, Berry, Banjo, and Bambi. And is the storyline is the Powerpuff Girls contact the Powerpufflish to help them fight Mojo Jojo, and all four of them are given their own respective mission on what to solve based on their capability. And then next.
So this is the character selection scene where each of the characters, where the users can select which characters they choose to start with. Each character has their own tasks and lessons. So I will start with Basket first. So these are the lessons of Basket. We start by giving, because Basket represents, or rather teaches, listening. So it starts with a few notes about listening, a few tips on how to focus on the tasks and how to listen better. And then after the lesson is finished, we go right into the tests. So for the tests, we used fill in the blanks for listening. Here you can play the audio.
Mojo Jojo, no one will find my secret laboratory. It's hidden beneath the old abandoned factory on the east side of Townsville.
So users can write the answer and then check, and then if it's right, it will be red. If it's right, it will be green. and if it's wrong, it will be red. And then you can move on. There are 10 questions in total. So
Master, the brainwash machine is almost perfect. Mojo Jojo, almost. But don't let anyone press the red emergency button.
yes. So there are 10 questions like these. Every question has its own audio and has its own respective answers. And then once the user is done with the mission, they can choose to either restart um, or progress into the next character. Okay, so now Benjo.
So Benjo's task is pronunciation, and we start with the storyline panel, a bit of a storyline of how pronunciation helps Benjo to gain confidence in doing speeches. So next. So here we have the objective of why we have to learn pronunciation to help convince the people of Townsville. And here is the first slide for lesson, and this is the IPA table. So once clicked, the picture will be enlarged. Next. So the
ball,
lessons are a lot of uh,
ball,
contain a lot of the IPA and the speech sounds, and players can click on
ball,
the note button if they want to
ball,
repeat on how to pronounce the word example. So those are
Gone.
basically those are the concept
Gone.
of the lesson pronunciation, and we will go on to the practice. So for practice of pronunciation, we are going to use the drag and drop. So like here, we have the question, we have a drag box, and we have also the answer box. So you can drag it to the drag box and check your answer, and there is a feedback. But the practice here is still incomplete because based on what we have planned, Benjo will think of a certain word. Sorry, will think of a certain word, and in his thought, there would be a button, and the button would uh, would pronounce the word that he is searching for, so that the audience can guess which IPA translation is the actual answer based on the sounds thought by Benjo. So that's it for pronunciation.
I'm sorry, we cannot progress until we actually finish the whole task, the whole test, because it is designed like that. Um, hold on, yes. Uh,
This one is danger, the middle one. Okay. Then we move to Berry. So here we can see that it happens in the robot factory. The storyline is about Mojo Jojo's robot. They are being controlled by Mojo Jojo because they have been corrupted with incorrect English. So in order for us to fix the robot, we need to fix the grammar in the system first. And then Barry takes the lead to teach them about grammar. In the lesson, we have sentence structure, simple present tense, past tense, subject, verb, and agreement, and then connectors. So each lesson is short and interactive so players can understand the rule before applying it. Once they have learned their lesson, they can now enter the grammar challenge. Here, the activity uses a drag and drop word scramble, where players need to arrange words into correct sentence. Um, so you need to answer everything, just like what we did to pronunciation. If you answer it wrong, you cannot progress to the next question. So you need to answer it one by one until you get everything correct. We have 15 questions, and I'm still thinking whether we should reduce it to maybe 10, but 15 is good for now.
In the interest of time, I will skip to the next next character.
Um, Hello, Miss Hana. My name is Patricia. I'm in charge of the reading subject. So, first of all, for the reading objectives, I implement um, the objectives in the form of storyline. Can you go to the first page, please? Yeah. So, to connect the storylines together, Bambi, this character would be the last character, and then she would recap about what the others have done for Townsville. Then you can skip, proceed. That's Barry fighting the robots, and that's Benju convincing Townsville, and that's Basket trying to steal the secret manual and spying on Jumojus. And then, okay, can you pause there? Okay. And now that we have the secret manual, to look for the cure for Townsville, we but the secret manual is like 1,000 pages long, so it's hard for us to find a cure. So students need to learn scheming and scanning techniques in order to look for important clues in the manual to look for cure. So that's what Bambi here, yeah, Bambi here is for. And then to go to the lesson, we have two options, scheming and scanning. And here I incorporated the typewriter effect. You can press next music. Yeah. And then I would add a character of. Can you go back, please? I would add the character of Bambi teaching down at the board, so it tallies with the typewriting effects. Okay, next. Is that all for this scene? I think. Okay, and then this is scanning lesson. It's basically the same but in different like colors and fonts. So that's all for reading subjects, reading lessons. So now is the we have the practice after learning about scheming and scanning techniques. The user will use it to identify important keys in the secret manual during the practice. Here. Um, and here is I incorporated the page of the secret manual in a scroll view and in typewriting effects. So this is like the overview of the paragraph that the students will be given in order to answer their questions. Can you press next? Okay, so this is wait. So this is basically the same paragraph earlier, but it's in static form so that students can read and refer again. Okay. Then scroll please. So this is the actual question. Can you press any buttons? So if they press okay, that's it. Stop there. So if they press the button, they press the wrong answer once, the character will say it's wrong, and then the second time it says wrong again, and then the third time the character will say go back to the lesson, and then the buttons will be disabled. And if they answer correctly, also the button will be disabled, and then the character will say please move on to the next question. That's it for this practice. And I have 10 questions, but it's basically in the same um, structure and style. You can press the middle. So this is the ending for the questions um, part, the test part, the practice part. And then a user can either press next to go to the next questions or previous to the previous questions, and then the button, the home button in the middle to go back to the um, menu panel. Can you press the home button? That's it.
Okay, okay, so here we can see the storyline tree, which is also the ending of the game. So after completing every English mission, the team successfully creates the anti-brainwash cure. So the cure restores the citizens' English knowledge, which allows the Townsville citizens to return to normal. So Mojojojo's plan fails because the player have successfully mastered the English skills needed to complete each mission, and the Powerpuff Flash team is recognized as heroes for saving the city. So to conclude, our game blends learning with storytelling, so students complete English tasks as part of a mission to save Townsville. And this makes learning more engaging and meaningful because the mission follows a story step by step. So the story flow that we are going for the mission is first it starts with Benjo who counts the citizens using pronunciation, and then once we complete pronunciation, we can move to Barry who teaches grammar and repairs the robots, and then we move to Basket who uses the robots to hack the surveillance of Mojojo's system for listening practice. And then we have Bambi, who reads the secret manual to create the anti-brainwash cure. So overall, each English skills has a clear purpose in the story, which shows us that reading, listening, grammar, and pronunciation can work together to solve problems instead of being learned separately. Okay, that is all from us.
Thank you, Miss Ona.
Thank you, Miss Anna.
Thank you, Miss Anna.